Hi, and welcome back to Desert Studios. Today you are going to be making a sculpture out of aluminum foil and newspaper in the inside. Okay, we are going to be inspired by Alberto Giacometti, and we're also going to talk about volume and space and form in the sculpture. Alright, but the first thing that we need to do is get our materials on the table. Today you are going to need an egg carton, you're going to need aluminum foil, you're going to need a newspaper, scissors also, you're going to need a brush, a paintbrush, you're going to need a tray, or I'm taking an egg carton to put the paint in, and also you're going to need silver paint. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about Alberto Giacometti. Well, Alberto Giacometti was a Swiss sculptor that made his figures elongated, very long, very thin, like if they were walking with their very long legs and their very long arms for going all over the place. And two of the figures that I really liked that he made were a cat, because his brother had a cat and he got inspired on that cat, and he said that the cat looked like if he walked through objects but he never touched them. So he got inspired by the cat and he made this elongated figure of a cat just walking around very silently, not touching anything that he walked by. Okay, he also got inspired on a dog because one day he was walking along the street and he was kind of sad and his head was kind of down like that, and he felt like a sad dog walking on the street. So he went home to his studio and he decided to make the sculpture of a dog, an elongated dog with his head down, and how he felt. So that dog was kind of a self-portrait. He also made figures of people very long, and that was his style. That's why I always tell you that everyone has their own style. Alberto Giacometti made very thin figures. Remember that other artists like Botero also make sculptures like of a cat. He also made a sculpture of a cat, but it was a fat cat, and the volume that he used was really big. Well, Alberto Giacometti, when he makes his cat, he uses very little volume and he makes the cat very thin. So the volume that he uses, the volume is actually the space that you use for a sculpture. So Alberto Giacometti's volume is thinner, it's not as thick as other artists, and also his shapes is very long, very elongated. So he makes very thin and long people, very thin and long cats. Alberto Giacometti is no longer in this world because he passed away, but we still have his sculptures to look at and to enjoy. Okay, so let's begin making the sculpture. The first thing that you're going to do is take the aluminum foil and you're going to cut out a piece, just like this, more or less. Okay, and it has to be maybe 2 hands wide, just like this. Okay, just an elongated piece, like a rectangle. Alright, and you're going to cut in the following form. Alright, I am going to do it with a marker so you could see, but you don't have to trace it with a marker to do it. Alright, you're gonna make a cut right here in the middle, and then you are going to just cut this way and this way. Okay, so it's kind of like a circle in the middle, more or less, and then you make these cuts. Why? Because we're gonna make the arms from here, the legs from here, and the head from here. Alright, so let me show you how to do that. We cut down the middle, we cut on this line right here. You don't need to make the lines again, but I made them so you could see how I do this. Okay, now the first thing that I'm going to do is take a piece of newspaper, just a little piece, and make a ball. Okay, make like a little ball here. Alright, and this ball is going to be what I'm going to wrap the head around. So I'm going to put it up here, and I'm gonna wrap it this way, and I'm gonna wrap this way. All right, and I'm gonna make kind of the head like that. Okay, I'm gonna press it in. All right, and now I'm gonna start making the body. So I am going to take another piece of newspaper, maybe this time in half like this, and I'm gonna roll it up just like this. Okay, for the arms, for one arm and the other arm. And this is kind of like the stuffing, so your sculpture is a little bit thicker, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm gonna put one piece of paper here, okay? And I'm gonna kind of wrap around it, all right? Wrap around it like that, okay? And I'm gonna put the other one on the other side and kind of wrap around it too, just like this, okay? All right, so now I have like the arms right there. And I'm gonna take the last piece of paper, of newspaper. I am just going to, with my hands, cut down like this, make it long, so my legs could be very long. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I am going to just wrap around it like this, all right? And I am going to kind of make that leg right there, okay? And the other side too. In the middle, I don't have anything right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take another piece of newspaper and I'm gonna put it in here, and I'm gonna take another piece of aluminum foil and wrap it too. Watch. Now you take another piece of wrapping paper, of aluminum foil paper, okay? And you start wrapping like the torso around like this, so it stays a little bit firmer. And then try to keep it long. This side here, from the front like this. We turn the figure around, and now we wrap it around the arms so it's stronger. And once we have our figure, we start giving it some shape. Don't press it too much, just enough to make it long and make it strong. Okay, so here we go. We have our figure. All right. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to set a base for our figure. So we need to put it on the egg carton so we make it stand up, okay? So once you have your figure all wrapped up, okay, and you like it and you know that's what you want to do, what we're going to do is we're going to glue down the figure down here, okay? We're going to make some feet like this. And we're gonna put it right here, and we're gonna glue it down a bit, all right? We're gonna put some glue, and then we're gonna put aluminum foil to wrap it around the egg carton, okay? So here we're gonna get some glue. I'm gonna use white glue, okay? I didn't show you before, but I'm gonna use white glue. Just a tiny bit, just like this, okay? And I'm going to take some aluminum foil. I'm going to have this ready so I could wrap around the feet and it could give it some stability, all right? So this is what I do. I put my figure down, okay, one of the legs, okay? And what I do is I take the aluminum foil and I am going to wrap all around the feet, that foot actually. I am going to wrap all around that foot, just like this, so my figure is stable on that foot. And I'm going to press down really well, okay, so it's very stable, you see? Now I could bend the knee, or I could do anything that, that I want to do. I put some glue because afterwards it's going to stay glued down, okay? Like for next week it's going to be glued, and the aluminum foil is going to give it a lot of stability, okay? That's why I do it. Now I take my other aluminum foil, and like this is glued down already, has glue on it. I'm just going to give it more stability with the other aluminum foil paper. So I take it and just watch on the top camera so you can see how I press it down and how I wrap it around with my fingers. Okay, and now my sculpture is really stable. Now the arms, I could take the arms and I could put the arms down. I can bend maybe the little hand and I could make it like into a figurine, like a ballerina. Okay, and now my figure is really stable. If I see, like for example here, that there's a little bit of paper coming out, I could always take a little bit of aluminum foil paper and I could make the neck a little bit stronger. Okay, just like this. I go around it and I wrap that up really well. Okay, so you can see, okay, the paper. All right, and here's my figure. Now what I need to do is I need to make it stable, just like that, and let it dry, because once the glue is dry at the bottom, it's just gonna stay standing and it's going to balance, okay? So that's what I want to do. Now, the next thing that I want to do is paint the whole entire egg carton in silver. Why? Because I want this to be like a sculpture made of metal. Like Giacometti made his sculptures out of metal, elongated and with lots of texture on it. I want to do the same. I have given it the form of a person already. See, if you look around it, see, it's like a person going whoo and dancing. So I gave it already the form of the person, moving its arms and moving his knee right here. But now, and then I gave it the texture of the aluminum foil being pressed down, rough texture all over. So it has volume, it has form, okay? It has space, a space around that you see. It's like you have space that is all around. And the space also makes it look like a figure that is a human, okay? So sculptures have all of those things in it. And all of those we have to think about when we're making a sculpture. The form that we give it, the volume, if it's thin, if it's thick, okay? And the space around it, okay? Also, how we balance the sculpture, because if we put too much on one side, it will fall down. And if we put too much on the other side, it will fall down. So a figure has to be balanced, okay? So it will not fall. So the next thing and the last thing that we're going to do today is paint the sculpture with the silver paint to make it look like if it was a metallic sculpture. So let's do that really quick, okay? Okay, and now we are finished painting that egg carton and everything is silver, okay? So what we're gonna do is the following. We are going to take the sculpture, you're gonna take your sculpture, you're gonna put it in your classroom in a spot so it could dry, and then next week we are going to finish decorating the sculpture with metal pieces. So you need to take metal things from around the house, maybe the top of cans, just like these right here, see? Like these, maybe little metal pieces, paper clips, tacks, anything that you could find, little bulbs that you could find at home, anything that you could find that has to do with metal, because next time we're going to be decorating it. And it's gonna be really awesome because we're gonna have a wonderful sculpture, all right? So let's go over everything that we have done today. So today we have created a metal sculpture, well, it's aluminum foil sculpture Okay, being inspired by Alberto Giacometti, which was a sculptor that made his sculptures in bronze. Okay, bronze is a metal, and his sculptures were very thin, very long, very beautiful. Okay, and they had lots of texture, they had space around them that makes the shape, okay, that it has, that it looks like a human figure. Very elongated sculptures. The volume is very thin actually because they're very elongated, so they're very thin and the volume is very little. And that's what I wanted to do today. Instead of making a fat sculpture like Fernando Botero in his style, no, we're making a thin sculpture of a person in Alberto Giacometti's style. Okay, so save this, have it dry, and next week I will see you to completely finish it, and like that you could show it, you could give it to somebody as a present, or you could keep it for yourself, okay? So I will see you next time. Remember, creative minds build a better future. Bye bye.